Alright, it's a little bit early for a video this morning, but I couldn't sleep, so might as well get up a little bit too early. Okay, so a lot of times when I can't sleep, it's because my mind is thinking about all sorts of things. So I'll just talk about what I've been thinking about. How's that? The garbage truck just went by, so hopefully we won't hear that again. Let's see. Adjust the lamp. We might have some sunlight creeping in on our little porch here in a minute. Could be messing with the lighting. Oh well. Okay, so yeah, I'm thinking about when I started napping. You guys, some of you guys are just starting to get into napping. It's getting increasingly difficult to be innovative or inventive in napping, but it's still possible. You know, I think there's probably still some techniques that are good for beginners that haven't really been explored very much yet. Most of the views to my channel are brand new people surfing without recommendations, right? They're just, I guess, typing in flint napping and coming up with my channel and others. If you're in that boat and have not started napping, you can start napping with just about any material. If you want to use natural materials, like most new people do, I recommend that you get in touch with some hunters or if you know any, and bug them first for antlers or animal bones, anything else you could get, feathers, legal feathers. Don't start collecting feathers from protected birds for your arrows, for example. So you'll need antlers, bone, maybe some rawhide from hunters who sometimes will take the time to collect and store the materials for you if you want to do natural materials. I didn't know any hunters that wanted to part with their antlers, since most of them were mounting their trophies, so antlers are part of that, obviously. I had to buy most of my stuff in the beginning. I was impatient, you know. I didn't want to wait till next season, so I looked around and there's plenty of places to buy natural materials for napping nowadays. There was a lot back when I started too, but now there's even more. When did I start? I started in 2009, I think. Seriously, napping in 2009. I think I dabbled in it in 2007 when I first started watching YouTube videos, when I first signed up on YouTube. When I first signed up on YouTube, one of my favorite types of videos to watch or primitive skills videos and flint knapping videos. My favorite things are hunting, camping, and fishing. Although I don't like watching too many fishing or hunting videos. I just get a little bit bored after a while. I'd rather watch how-to type videos, so I watch a lot of how-to various things. So I recommend that for new guys. Watch a lot of videos. Monkey see, monkey do. You see something, you try to do it. That's how you learn many things, including flint knapping. If you don't have someone to teach you directly, you're going to have to learn a lot on your own. Sit there by yourself and watch videos and practice if you want to try it. Most people who are not nappers who watch my channel are never going to try it. At least not seriously. Maybe they'll find an interesting rock in their yard and start chipping on it a little bit and then lose interest. Because they'll say, rocks are hard. I mean really hard. They don't chip. Yeah, they don't like to be chipped in most cases. That's why you gotta heat treat them like this one. Stick it in the oven or a kiln. Tame it. This one needs to be tamed at about 600 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a lot. That's more than what I can do right now with my little heat treating setup with a turkey roaster. I've been looking at kilns lately. Well, not lately, I always do. I drool over them. Yeah, I wish I had one of those. That'd be nice. Okay, so this is going to be another Snyder's attempt. And I've been receiving tips and links to websites and photos of real Snyder's artifacts. And there's a lot of interest in this one. I said, dang. There's a lot of interest in this Snyder stuff. What's up? My kids hate it when I talk that way. They hate it. What's up? The kids are all grown now, so I'm on my own. So I got time to do this stuff. And then I wake up early in the morning thinking about it. I go to sleep at night thinking about it. I guess I'm married to it now. Guess I'm married to this stuff. I'm also delving into how to turn it into a job these days. I mean, it's not that hard. You just start making it and start selling. But how do you stay sane through the process? How do you stay motivated? Because usually when I have a job, if I can't find a way to stay motivated, I get restless after about a year. So hopefully after a year of selling this stuff, I won't get restless. Right. Anyway, hopefully you guys are picking up some good stuff. In today's economy, extra $300 a month can make all the difference. And or $400 a month if you can make 100 a week. But then you have to do this constantly, right? So let's say 300. You do it three weeks out of the month, because you can't do it constantly all the time. That almost went all the way. Right? I mean, yeah, some guys can do it. Physically, I mean. Mentally, that's a different story. Mentally is a different story. Yes, it is. So where was I? I was with the new guys. You can get antlers from hunters. If you want to use natural tools, I recommend brown antler instead of sheds. And what that means is you'll have to cut the antler off the skull, and you have to have a hunter willing to do that, or go hunt yourself. If you're already a hunter, you can collect antlers off the skull. That's the best way. It's like harvesting wood for a project like a bow. Harvest it yourself, and you can control the process of the aging and drying, which is important with natural materials. Even with antlers and bones, the aging, the drying, the cleaning process of these items matters. What's the cleaning process, you might ask? Well, for bone, many of the bones that you will be using contain marrow. Even if you clean off the outside, you still got the marrow on the inside. That marrow contains fat. You don't want the fat to permeate the bone, so you have to remove the marrow. Why? I find that if you remove the marrow and dry it slowly after doing that, the bone cracks less than if you were just to leave it be or bury it in the ground. Hopefully nature will clean it for you. I never really had success in letting nature take over the process completely. I always end up with something stinky. Yes. Don't like it. Not only does it stink, it doesn't smell, but the quality of the bone or the antler suffers if it's starting to decompose or degrade or react with nature in some way like that. You know what I mean? It's best to have consistent materials that'll be durable, relatively speaking. Antler isn't that durable, but it can be used to chip rocks, as you probably know by surfing 200 videos today. For you surfing fanatics, internet surfing fanatics, 200 videos in one day is not a problem. So you'll surf a lot of videos, different techniques. You may even say to yourself, I don't know what method to choose. It's so confusing. I mean, what is this thing? This thing is a steel rod. I get asked that almost every video. What is that? It's a steel rod. I got it at Lowe's. But why Lowe's? Dang it. Well, I suppose you can get it at Home Depot, eBay, Ace Hardware. Where I moved to Vermont, there's Obashan Hardware. It's a very common item. Mild steel. Now, I've been accused of having a bad habit of using steel, and I agree, but probably not for the reasons you might think. I think it's a bad habit because it's, it can become a crutch, and I've been a crutch, you know what that means, right? Just use it as a path of least resistance or something that is just easy. It's easy peasy. And I become, I don't know, stagnant. So if it becomes a habit, that's bad. But it's not because it's not an antler. That's not why it's a bad habit. Yeah, it's a bad habit because it's not antler. No, that's not the reason. The reason is because I become too dependent, too steel-minded. As a play on words there. Right? I should be branching out into things like plastics. Maybe even ceramics. Can you hit rock with a ceramic? I want to know. I mean, instead of a hammerstone, I wonder if there's ceramics that are hard enough to use as hammerstones. This is a kind of ceramic, right? I think this is bonded together with, I don't know. I'm going to guess now, but I think heat might be involved in bonding this together. I may be wrong. It may be just a very tough resin holding these together like a concrete. No heat involved. But anyway, I'm wondering if I could be using other materials. Why is that important? Well, a lot of people will ask me what materials can be used because they don't have much available or they don't want to spend anything, which is perfectly understandable, especially if you have other obligations for your money. You don't want to be spending it on this. So can you go into the toolkit that your grandfather left you that's been sitting in the garage for 6 years? What's in there that you could use? That's free. What can you go to the dump? Or I don't recommend going to the dump, but can you go to a salvage yard and walk around and say, hey man, how much for that little steel rod? Just take the steel rod. Okay. Stuff like that. Yes, you can use these little steel rods you find laying around that no one used. And the only way it'll be bad is if you get stuck doing it, and that's it. You're not branching out. You're not branching out. You're might be missing out. I might be missing out. So, if you have fear of missing out, you know what I mean. I'm not saying this is what I have. But that's one of the main reasons to try new things is because you may be missing something. Maybe missing out. No, what I'm missing out is in how they used to do it back in the old days. That's the only way that I think I should be learning. If I'm not, I'm missing out. Okay. If you think you're missing out by not seeing antler, change the channel, because this is going to be painful for you, because you're going to see flakes like this being made with steel. You know what I mean? Something that seems impossible. You're not going to like it. Okay? So yeah, I got a bad habit because I've been stuck. But one of the reasons why I'm stuck right now is because I'm trying to make money at this. Trying to see what works. And I know a lot of you guys are following this. getting back to today's economy, an extra $300 is going to make a big difference to many of us, me included, till we can figure out this money thing. I can go back to drafting. That's my trade. That's my career. I don't want to go back to drafting. No, no, no. Why? I changed my lifestyle. I don't want to be sedentary. Although I do sit a lot when I'm flint knapping. It's not nearly as bad as sitting, clicking the mouse and hitting the keyboard, and that's all the movement I do for hours on end, except maybe to get up and go get some coffee or go to the bathroom. And even that I don't want to do. Then I come home, and what do I want to do when I get home? I certainly don't want to come home hitting the ground running. Right? My brain's exhausted. I might be able to physically do a lot of things, but I'm tapped out as far as brain work, thinking, resolving issues. You get paid to resolve problems, make corrections, look for errors. Make sure you get all the details right. You don't want to do any of that when you get home. So if I absolutely have to, I'll go back to drafting, but I don't think I have to. Not yet anyway. So I'm doing this. Steel seems to be a very good material for the professionals. And it's not new. I mean, it's not a new discovery. Knappers who made gunflints used steel tools. Oh yes, in case you didn't know. Most of you don't know. I'm finding out. Because you're just surfing the internet. But now that you know that steel was used to make flints for gunflints, you're like, oh, you know what? Yeah, antler's not so important after all, huh? I wish. I wish. You wouldn't have to be bugged by the antler people. The antler people will bug you. Yes, they will. And I will not name anybody, or I will not name a type of person or personality. I've also been accused of calling people narcissists, and I do have a bad habit of that too, but again, not for the reasons you might think. There's better ways to deal with narcissists than calling them out straight to their face. In fact, if you call them out straight to their face, you'll find out, if you know anyone like that they will escalate the conversation very quickly. If they have any leverage against you, they will bring it out and try to shut you up. Because there's nothing the narcissist hates more than to be called out or exposed. Well, there is probably something they hate more. The loss of control. But the better strategy, instead of just calling them out straight away, which is a bad habit because it gets weaker and weaker over time, is to let them expose themselves. You know? Just let them talk. Let them bug you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, just keep talking. Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, man. And they'll go blah, 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 blah. Right? You're going to do it, right? Everything's better now? You got it, right? You understand where I'm coming from? They'll try to get you to concede whatever their agenda is. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Good. They'll say good or right. Right. Yeah. Don't let me catch you. They'll be thinking, or maybe they even say it. Don't let me catch you going back on your word now. I'll be watching you. Why is it important? Why is it important to this conversation? Well, it's not that important, but it does affect flint knapping. We're trying to advance the skill. So not everyone learns the same way. Not everyone has access to the same tools. Not everyone wants to do the same kinds of knapping. And lo and behold, not only is that true nowadays, it was true in the past. Oh, yes. It was true in the past as well. They didn't all have the same tools. They didn't all have the same interests in knapping. They didn't all have the same talent. They didn't all want the same talent. There are some people that had a lot of talent who were stifled because people were jealous. There was people who did not have a lot of talent but still did it because they thought it was good for status. I mean, the whole spectrum. And we're sitting here looking at some of these artifacts going, what were they thinking? This is too perfect, or this is too cruddy. This is just right. How did they do this? How did they do that? Why did they do this and why did they do that? Very interesting questions. So, is there a strategy for knapping that can give you everything? The knowledge of how they used to be made, the ease of getting into the hobby, so you're not going to be creating anxiety for yourself rather than alleviating it. Lack of expense, you don't want to spend a whole lot. Is there a method that captures everything, all of it, in the best possible way? Tell me everything you know, man, about knapping. You got, do it in like 10 bullet points. Okay, go. Oh, and talk to me like I'm 5, because I have no idea what knapping is or how to do it or anything. So, you got 10 bullet points and talk to me like I'm 5, go. I got a few words for you. Monkey see, monkey do. What is that? Monkey see? 4 words for you. Monkey see, monkey do. That's it. You're just going to have to look and see what other people are doing. If none of it works for you and you come up with something that does and no one else is doing it, by all means, keep doing it. But I'm going to give you a little warning from experience. If it looks a little odd, people will let you know. And the type of people that will let you know are the people that we will stop mentioning because it's a bad habit to mention it. We will not discuss the people who will let you know that you're doing something odd or wrong or not advancing the cause. Believe me, I know from experience. It did bug me at one time a lot. But as I get older, as I learn more about how to take care of my health, mentally and physically, yeah, I'll let the unmentionables expose themselves. The tactic of direct confrontation, not worth it. It's so much more satisfying to just watch them expose themselves and watch them act like fools. And once you find the unmentionable people, it is a little bit useful to realize that they should not be paid attention to. Now, they're going to hate that. Because they say, well, I've got vital information. You don't want to ignore me. Right? They do. And they have it on purpose. Not because they like the vital information. It's because they have it so you cannot dismiss them. They'll look around for vital information. Have it stored up to become valuable. It's true. It does make them valuable. But they'll bug you. They'll gaslight you. It gets to the point where sometimes some people just quit napping because of it. Yes, indeed. Man, I'm sick of the drama. What the heck? Yep. Some people will quit doing something just because there's too much drama. I'm not saying there's a lot of drama in this, but there can be. So there you go. I'm going to continue this on the next segment. I don't know if I'll make a Snyder's from it, but I'm out of time. So, next segment.